Chapter 6 has officially arrived, bringing with it a brand new battle pass that's packed with fresh skins to explore. And today we're ranking every Chapter 6 battle pass skin from worst to best. Now I do want to say before we get started, this list is purely based on my opinion, so don't take it as a fact. If you agree, disagree, or have your own ranking, I'd love to see them in the comments below. But with that said, let's kick off the list. Alright, I already know this placement is gonna ruffle some feathers, but hear me out. Just because Baymax is ranked lower doesn't mean that I think the skin is bad, it's just not for me. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Big Hero 6, so I don't get that extra level of hype that collabs often bring if you're a fan of the source material. That aside, my main issue with the skin is the sheer size, as Baymax is a massive skin. I get that he needs to stay true to the character, but his bulkiness makes him less practical for gameplay, especially if you're like me and you prefer skins that don't obstruct your view. That being said though, I do love the design of the skin, especially the alternate samurai style, which adds a Fortnite original twist to the character. So while I do appreciate the skin, he lands at number 8. Now heading into Chapter 6, I was super hyped to see Kendo in-game, but once I got my hands on him, I'll have to admit, I was a little disappointed. His main two styles just feel a bit too generic for me, especially when you compare them to how unique and creative some of the other skins are in this battle pass. Now the Demon Hunter style is definitely a step up, as it's way better than the base look, but even then, it's just a slightly upgraded version of the base style, with the popped up collar, metallic colors, and a mask. Yes, it's cool, but for me, it doesn't feel transformative enough. I really wish the skin had more progression in the styles, like how Ronin did in Chapter 3 Season 1, as he slowly built up into a more epic look. Adding something like a hooded style, more intricate details in the progression, or more color options for the demon style certainly would have gone a long way in making Kendo stand out a bit more. But as it stands, he's not a bad skin at all, but he doesn't quite live up to the hype for me, landing him at number 7. Alright, I'll admit it, this is where my personal bias really starts to show, because I've seen a ton of people put Godzilla at the bottom of their lists. I'm not a huge fan of skins with features like massive tails or overly bulky designs, and Godzilla is definitely both. That said though, the design of the skin is absolutely insane. Growing up, I love Godzilla and the whole monster movie genre, so seeing him in Fortnite is honestly surreal. This is one of those collabs that I thought would never happen, yet here we are, and I think Epic did a fantastic job scaling Godzilla down as much as they realistically could to make him a skin in the game. But even with that scaling, he still has the same problem as Baymax, as the skin is just too big for my preference. And I know a lot of you out there enjoy the more goofy, larger than life skins, but for me, even though with my nostalgic love for Godzilla, I can't justify putting him any higher on the list. As the rest of the skins on this list, I see myself running all season long, while 6 through 8 like Godzilla are more of a try it once or twice and then move on kinda deal. Still, it's an amazing skin, just not practical enough to crack the top 5. Now from this point on, I genuinely love every skin on this list, and all of these could swap spots any given day of the week because I enjoy running them so much. Daigo in particular surprised me in the best way. When the key art leaked, he was the skin I was the least excited for, and even on launch day, he didn't really grab my attention. But once I unlocked him a few days into the season, everything changed. The black, gold, and white color scheme is super clean. And while I do wish he had more mask options, like Haven from Chapter 3 Season 1, with all the Oni masks that we see in game, as well as a hooded alternate style, those are just nitpicks, as I think what we already have in the game is good enough. Overall, I think Daigo is massively underrated, as I've seen him ranked near the bottom of most of people's lists, but for me, he's a standout skin, landing him at number 5. And before we move on to the next skin, make sure you smash that sub button. Only 10% of you right now are actually subscribed, so make sure you join us on the road to 10K. I have a massive video in the works to celebrate that milestone when we hit it that you definitely don't want to miss. And of course, if you're enjoying the video, drop a like as it really helps out the channel, and don't forget to use code Twistychase in the Fortnite item shop with any purchase. Now this skin really caught me off guard, as going into the season, Jade was the skin that I was least excited for, but that all changed the moment that I ran the skin on day 1. Initially I was worried that her shoulder pads would be distracting when ADSing or in general gameplay, but to my surprise, they weren't an issue at all, and in fact they make the skin even better. But what really sold me on Jade is her variety in alternate styles. Each of her color schemes are great, from the sleek blue and white to the vibrant white and pink, and my personal favorite with the pink and dark blue combo. And on top of that, the customization customization is a huge win, as you can equip her helmet or enable the glow feature, both of which help the skin stand out even more. So if you ask me on day 1 of the season, I probably would have ranked this skin much lower, but after running her the most of all the skins so far, I can confidently say that she's one of my favorites. Jade isn't just a season favorite, she's a skin that I'll be wearing after season 1 wraps up, and I really hope she gets the super styles for the season in a few weeks. Out of every skin on this list, I think Nyanja is easily the most underrated of the pass. Sure, he's sitting at number 3 for me, but I've seen so many people trashing the skin, and I honestly don't know why. I absolutely love the cyberpunk vibes that the skin has, and he fits the theme of the season very well. His first style stands out to me with a nice mix of bright blue paired with a casual blue and pink that strikes a great balance. And on top of that, he comes with 2 incredible edit styles, giving you even more options for the skin, with the Lucky style being my favorite for him and one of my favorite looks from the battle pass overall. And when I first unlocked him, this skin was my absolute favorite, as I saw him as my main for the season. And while I'm still deciding on that as we get further in the season, don't take this number 3 ranking as a knock, as honestly the top 2 skins on this list are just so good that Nyanja finds his way at number 3. Now this skin had me a bit iffy when I first saw the key art, but I'm happy to say the skin exceeded my expectation. I really appreciate the traditional Japanese vibe that Epic Games went for, rather than just giving us another samurai style character, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but there's already so many of them in the item shop that I respect the fact that Epic Games went for something different. The design itself is great, and the color scheme of white, black, and red really hits the mark. On top of that, she also has another style called Restored Night, which takes the same base design and switches it up with a yellow and red color scheme, and I have to admit to you guys that this one's really grown on me. And of course, the most popular style seems to be the tactical one, where she sports an all-black color scheme and purple skin. Now, I totally see the appeal behind this design, as she definitely looks more intimidating, but for me, I actually prefer the more grounded, traditional look of the base design, but this alternate look is still extremely well made. All in all though, the Night Rose is an amazing skin that has more variety than I initially gave her credit for, as she's earned her spot at number 2. Now, I know a lot of people have been hating on Hope, and this skin in particular, and honestly I just don't get it. She's the main new protagonist of the game, so it makes sense that just like Jones, she's gonna get new skins very often, and in my opinion, this is one of the best. The vibe the skin gives off for the season is great, and the black and blue color scheme works extremely well with the design. What I love most about Hope is the customization, as you can choose to have the hood up or down, and you can wear the mask or take it off. Now personally, my favorite look is with the mask on and the hood up, but you can't go wrong regardless of which way you prefer the skin. Not to mention, the skin also has 2 great alternate styles. The first is Liliac, a purple and white look that's easily my favorite of the bunch. And then there's the Demon Hunter, which is a version of the skin that I really like. So for me, Shadowblade Hope is easily number 1 for the list. So all in all, I think every skin from this pass is solid in its own way, and I'm very happy with how the pass has turned out, even with some of my lower picks like Baymax. But now it's your turn. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below, and share your overall thoughts on the pass as well. But until next time, take care and stay twisty.